Hey everyone, I'm Darwin. They say music and food feed our soul. We all learn the same discipline, but apply them to different practices. But I'm not a chef. I'm an audio engineer for 10 years now, and learning that the disciplines that I use in the studio can also be applied in the kitchen. Today, I've invited GoldHaze, a producer from the south suburbs of Chicago, to work with artists such as Asar, OG Stevo, Flex Sinatra, Joey Perp. Each time, I'll invite chefs and producers to experience the making of their creations so we can all learn from each other's mindsets. This is the Cookup. I'm gonna be cooking up something that my mom always cooked up.
Nice.
It's a recipe, like, it's called adobo in the Philippines.
Okay.
And adobo can mean like anything. It's just like really just the main ingredients of like garlic and like whatever sauce you're making it in.
Right.
So my mom always made sometimes like with coconut milk, which I like. I don't really like coconut.
Yeah,
I'm not a big fan of it.
I'm not a fan of coconut.
But the way it's like, you know, all just kind of combined and stuff, it just like kind of makes
perfect sense.
It kind of makes sense. You know, like we got ingredients that you know, we all know goes good with chicken, like lemon, you know, some type of citrus and stuff. But like, it always fascinated me to like cook it. Like, damn, this is like with coconut. Like, you know?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
You know,
that's the last thing you expect with chicken.
Right. It's always like something to do with like curry, but there's no curry in this dish.
Right.
It's just coconut milk.
Yeah.
Chicken broth, and like vegetables.
Yeah.
So what I did was I kind of like refined this recipe that my mom gave me and took inspirations from other Filipino dishes. Right. So it's a kind of a combination of two dishes. My mom's coconut adobo and this other dish in the Philippines that we call tinola. Right. And that's like more of a broth type deal, when the coconut adobo is just like more just like the chicken and the sauce. But I kind of just combined it with some ingredients in tinola that I can incorporate it with the chicken ingredients in the coconut milk. Right. So typically what I've really added was the element of lemongrass and ginger. And
ginger is important.
Yes.
Ginger is very important. It's very, the taste is very evident.
Very strong.
Definitely.
But, you know, it's there to just like balance everything out and be a palate cleanser. Yes. So you can keep eating more.
No, it's just crazy though. Like you say, you was inspired by your mom. Yeah. Like that's because I feel like when you growing up, you learning new things and you getting used to certain things like from food, and I feel like that's so important with food and music. Because like when I grew up, I listened to certain projects and R&B albums. Like I was really raised on R&B heavy. Like I grew up listening to Mary J. Blige, like Jodeci, a lot of R&B, like just having it in a rotation. And I feel like that's what kind of made me fall in love with like sampling a lot of soulful records. You know, over time. And this is crazy. Like you say that, like that's very aligned with what you said. Like music and food go hand in hand, because like if you was brought up like with your family and your family gave you that love, you remember moments of eating the food, like, and sharing the memories hand in hand. You know, music, food, and memories all go hand in hand. Where did the journey start from you as far as engineering, and like what some of your influences that got you to that point?
Oh man, so when I first started engineering, I didn't really want to be an engineer. I went to the studio to learn how to produce more. Right. So let me take it back. And back when I was, you know, growing up where I grew up, I was in orchestra. Okay. Just because the public schools like offered that, you know, curriculum. Right. So I just like wrote that out because I knew earlier in life I was like really passionate about music.
Definitely.
And I wanted to pursue that somehow in my career. So, and especially with the knowledge I obtained through orchestra, I didn't want it to go to waste.
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
Definitely, bro.
Wanted to do something with it. So I learned about producing and then went to the studio to basically intern at the studio and then learned
Classics, yes.
At Classic Studios.
Yes.
And
legendary studio.
Yes. Shout out Classic.
Shout out Classics.
And then I fell upon engineering through Chris Classic, and he was like behind the boards. And I feel like throughout the years of, you know, subconsciously training my ear, like learning this different subtleties of like sound, basically.
Right,
so not a lot of people would like sit in the studio first time and kind of hear and feel the difference of the sound that he's manipulating.
Yeah, yeah.
But through my lifetime, I've kind of, you know, honed my ears to like, you know the difference and feel the difference. Definitely. You know what I mean? Definitely. So I started engineering more because I learned more that I wasn't like a good creator, but I was a good reciprocator.
Indeed.
You know what I mean? And sometimes you gotta have those audibles in life, and to know that like this door in front of you isn't the final destination. And you open the door and it's a fucking hallway.
Yeah, it's a new world.
You know what I mean?
It's a
and
new world.
You know, just the journey keeps going on.
Yeah, that's the beauty of this journey.
Yeah.
How long have you been engineering?
10 years.
10 years.
Well, I started interning in 2012, so
yeah, come on.
This is my 10 year.
Over 10 years, bro. You meet so many different artists and different like people with visions, you know, that you done brought to life, and I'm sure you done had amazing moments and just built such a rapport with so many different artists. And I feel like it's a generation under both of us that's really willing to learn and just gain that information.
Yeah, and that's what I'm always like preaching to the interns, like, because I've been in their shoes, like, you know, making them aware that, you know, this is just a part of your journey.
Yeah.
Who knows where you're gonna end up, but
exactly.
And that's why I'm there to guide them, like to give them that comfort to like, you know, it's okay to not know.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Facts. That's one of the main things I had to learn along my journey is like, you don't have to have all the answers today. You'll never have all the answers. You know, like, but over time, I feel like the more you continue to give yourself the best chance, you know, the more you continue to just apply yourself, you'll be okay, because over the long run, you know, it's all about just being present in each moment as much as possible. You know, I think that didn't really hit me until I turned like 25.
Okay.
You know, as far as like really appreciating each moment and each day, not only as a creator, but like as just a man in general. You know,
was it like a specific life event that occurred for you to like have that switch?
I had a listening session. This was like in 2019. This was like my first listening session, and it was like I planned for 25 to 30 people to be there, but like it turned into a moment. We was at Fort Knox, by the way, too, and it turned into a moment where it was like at least 250 people, and it was packed all the way out to like the hallway, and it really made me just realize, like, man, like this what I'm doing is really bigger than us. So I feel like when I turned 25, it really hit me. That was the day I had a listening session and the birthday party as well. So like that really hit me as far as like really just making sure every moment count. In general, I feel like we just had a lot of things like faced along the way, like the shit we've been through. But I feel like us as black people, we really are leaders. You know what I'm saying? Like just us. It's like influencing a lot of people with style and culture as we know it. I feel like we influence the whole entire world, like when it comes to sports, fashion, and music in general.
Amen.
You know, like we make so many different corporations and brands so much money. It's fucking ridiculous, you know. So I think it's important that we gotta really realize that, you know, that we gotta know our worth too. You know, it's very important, like us as creators as well. We can't settle for less, you know, especially when we know we work to a certain point. You know, so has there ever been a time when you definitely feel like you deserve more for the work you was putting in?
Man, to be honest, I don't think I've ever reached that point, and I don't know if I'll ever reach it. And if I do, I'll know, and I'll definitely tell you. But to me, it's just like, I feel like life is just forever. I feel like growing up in general is the goal for me, is to unlearn everything that I've had. Like, I want to say like necessarily unlearn, like, and get rid of the knowledge that I've already obtained. But, you know, from the moment we were born, we were learned from like, we learn like the set structure, you know, like whether it be from our parents or like, you know, from school, from the fucking social media.
Hold on, say school again.
School, bro.
It's crazy.
And that, you know, the more we unlearn, the more it's easy for us to, you know, adapt to this forever changing world that we live in, bro. Like, so I wouldn't per se that I've like met that accomplishment yet. Right. You know, maybe it's just like I'm really hard on myself too, and you know, we're all our worst critics. You know what I mean? So yes, we are. Maybe part of the unlearning, especially like how I was saying in Asian culture, is just like, you know, you do stuff for other people, and you know, that's how you live your legacy. But you know, just being aware of who I truly am. Exactly. You know what I mean? Exactly. Because anything that I do in life, you know, you hear that voice in your head where it's like, oh, like, you know, you shouldn't do that, or whoa, but you know what I mean? You start to learn that that's not really your voice. That's like the voice of your mom. That's like the voice of your parents, or like whatever judge in your head that, you know, you have these second thoughts of, am I doing this right? There is no right way. It's like, if it feels good, fucking do it. Exactly. You know? And
that's something that I have to learn as well, bro. Like, just over time, you know, I spent like the first half of my life really trying to live my life for my parents. Like, really trying to, you know, meet their expectations rather than just seeking my own happiness and what works for me. You know, I feel like as soon as I graduated high school, it was, okay, you gotta go to college. But it's like, I didn't know what for. You know, I felt like I was just going to college just to get student loans and all this extra shit. And it's like, I wasn't even fulfilled. I wasn't even happy. And it was like I was gonna actually like waste a bunch of time in my life not being fulfilled with something that I didn't truly want to do. I feel like every time that I create music, I feel like I'm really living in my purpose, living in my true purpose. And it's no coincidence, because when you center around like so many great people with great minds, and just people who you align with, and things that y'all are going through the same type of things, and it's very similar. A lot of your stories are similar as far as like your drive. I feel like that's no coincidence at all, because like a lot of us as creators, we definitely spent most of our life like just being looked at as crazy for just trying to create. Right. You know, like people just look at us being weird for just making music or wanted to make music. You know, like it wasn't as popular as it is now. I feel like it's extremely popular right now. They want to create music, but it was a time where people was looked at like, you want to do music? Like people hold it to such a high, people can only do this. Like people are only on top of the world to do this. But it's everyday people that go through everyday things, and they're able to be creators as well. You know, that's the beauty of it. What's going on right here? Talk to me.
I've cut up this chiote to make it look like apple slices, so it's like easier for you to eat. As this cooks down, it's pretty solid right now, but as it cooks down with the broth and everything, it becomes more tender. It's kind of like potatoes. Yeah. Okay. So I cut up the ginger too to incorporate that in the dish. You know, I feel like I've added, you know, like I said, I've done this recipe so many times, but I've done it in certain order. You know what I mean? Such as like music and being an engineer. Sometimes you need to put the compressor first when really, and then the EQ is after. Exactly. And you know, some situations where the EQ comes first and then the compressor comes after. So it's like learning that like what these ingredients do and how they hold flavor and incorporate their job and their role in the dish plays a factor of like where you put it in the stage of the dish.
Very important, bro.
So you know, it's like I feel like that's the same thing. Like, you know, as you're cooking up beats, the differences of like, you know, drum and melody.
Very important.
So it's like, who's to say that starting off with a melody is wrong? Yeah, you know what I mean.
Exactly. And also over time, I learned that My main go-to is like starting off with the melody as well, because I feel like the melody is the feeling. That's the emotion. That's gonna always, people remember melodies before words. I feel like, you know, like kids sing melodies. The ABCs is melodies. So I think that plays a major part into the record before you add any drums. And it's like the drums is like the icing on the cake. You know, like when you add them drums, it's just, man, it's like, oh, okay, like now you got the flow. Now you can add all this, and there's so many different ways you can go with it. I think I learned that from 40 as well, like Drake's producer. As far as like just knowing that, seeing him start with melodies and seeing him start with the sound first, that just made me look like, okay, damn, if he's doing that, then that's cool. I can continue to do it.
Right. I watched a show on Netflix. It's called Fat, Acid, Salt, and Heat. It might be in the wrong order, but
Fat, Acid, Salt, and Heat.
Correct. Right. And the way that it's set up is in 4 different episodes. And the chef talks about the different components of cooking. Right. You have your heat, which is like, you know, how you cook food, how fast, how slow, and what it does to the food. And then she goes on different topics where she talks about salt and how salt affects food, how acidity affects food, like lemon, lime. You know, sometimes like when something's too salty, you add acid to it and it balances out. So it's learning these different, I guess, components and these like rules of like, this is how the science works behind food, that once you kind of understand it in a way where it makes sense to you, you can damn near cook anything. That's real. You know what I mean? Like you can, like, I bet you like when you listen to something and you know the drums are off, you know how to fix it right away. Definitely. And that's probably a component of like something like compression or EQ. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Like just hearing certain things you could take away from the beat. That goes back to simplicity as well. Like really listening to a beat and saying, okay, maybe it's too many hi-hats right here. You know, we need space for the artist to really complement their flow. Right. The best way we know how, you know. So I feel like just simplicity over time, that's definitely one of the major things I learned. So pretty much that's my process when it comes to making beats. I like to have a real quiet setup. Sometimes I like to vacuum, you know, as far as like just getting that peace of mind and just like being around a clean atmosphere, you know. So I like to start with the sound first. First I find a bunch of sounds and just see what I like the most, see what resonates with me at the time, you know, like some stuff right here, like. Matter of fact, what sound do you like? What do you? Let me know what sound you like and we.
Okay, yeah. Go back to
right there. Let's do that one. Let's do it down. Yeah, I like that one too. I can hear. It's crazy with certain sounds you can kind of hit a bounce already. You know, so yes, sir. Find the BPM. You know, 105. Let me see. Probably change the tempo a little bit, you know. See, I think like getting the melody is important, you know, like as far as like getting that ground, that foundation, that's very important because when you got the drums, you already got that feel, so you kind of know what knock to add. Let me see. I got one of mine right here. I need an electric like bass, like a.
True. So like as you're assembling this beat, like much like cooking, it's like you taking a step back and realizing what's missing, and then you diving into it. Like you taste it and it's like, oh, it just needs more salt.
Yeah, just a little more salt. This is just like a pinchful. Really, like, because you could be right there and it's just that one thing. It's like we may make coffee, maybe 1 tablespoon of sugar away from making it taste how you want it. Ooh. Yeah, I love that bass, bro. Man, it's electric. Man, like, hopefully it fits on this one. I want to go dun 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 dun. Then in the high one. Dun, dun,
right.
Dun, dun. This is like one of my favorite parts of making a beat too, cause you get in the DJ mode.
Right.
You able to if something
take out some ingredients and like it's like, okay, it doesn't need it here.
Right. I like taking a lot of stuff out. Like sometimes it may not fit at all. It may be a space with no drums and you can just have the bass going crazy. So right here I got the See right there I want the bass to There we go. That's when I look for a hi-hat.
Do you always have like when you're listening to something, you're already like hearing it in your head?
Yeah.
For you, it's just like
it needs to, especially when I really like the beat. I think that's important. Like just hearing the drums play a major part into like the tone of the instrument, the swing of it, definitely. It also as well, it makes or break the track as well. What do you hear? What do you hear? You gotta. What do you hear? Like yeah, come on.
So do I hold the button to like?
Yeah, whatever you want to add. Yeah, also you do this to go back. Yeah.
How do I copy and paste these first?
Them first right there?
Yeah.
Let me see. Pretty much you take that, split that channel, and then right there you'll see like under that the bass, but over that was the hi-hats. And then let me see. So boom. Let me know you want to change it. Right there.
Yeah, so like a triplet.
Yeah.
The transition to the next one.
Yeah, definitely. That'd be crazy. Let me see. This would be like this pattern 7, and then right here it's like it just goes in. So anything you want to add right there, as far as like tripling it. Yeah.
Do I hold the button?
You ain't gotta. You can click it. You can click that. All that. Like right there. Like, boom. You can click that. Yeah. Anything you click, when you right click, you delete it.
Okay, right click.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
The ending.
Right there. Initial part right here. There we go. Yeah, there you go.
Got
there you go.
Okay.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Crazy.
I think that was good.
Crazy. Yeah. No. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. Yeah, that's the perfect towards the end. That's the fun part of this shit, bro. Like that's the beautiful part of it. You know? So, yeah. That's like that Timberland.
That's how I like Timberland.
Yeah, that shit is crazy. Yeah. That shit is.
And then, you know, like a really good fun part that I have of engineering is like the post production. Like after the lyrics come in, I'm a real big fan of dropping the 1.
Yes.
Sometimes, and then like if you have a snare on the 2 or whatever instrument, it comes on the 2.
Yeah.
So let's try to do
talk to me
4 bars, and then on the 5th one, drop the 1.
Yeah. Okay. Let me see. 4 bars. We starting off boom, 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 and on the 5th one,
drop the 1.
On all the sounds.
Maybe just on the hi-hats.
Right.
And the kick.
Okay. Gotcha. Let me see. Drop. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's then they come right back in. Yeah,
so
yeah.
Like on the end, I guess.
Let me see.
Not the two, but on the end, yeah.
Okay. So like, let me see. Drop. Yeah, that shit gonna be crazy. That shit is crazy. Yes, sir. Let me see. I love doing that with beats.
Right.
Yeah, that shit.
Like anticipate, like fuck the anticipate of like having things. What's the word like?
It's surprising. Keep you off your toes. Yeah, it's like and it compliment with the flows as well. That shit is Crazy. We should keep doing that. Yeah, we should keep doing that. Hold on.
And then take out the snare.
Yeah.
On the first.
Talk to me.
On this one here.
Right here. Yeah, right here, like. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Oh yeah. Gotcha. Let's see. Boom. That right there.
Yup. Something like that.
So many different flows off of that drop alone you can add. Hold on. Let's see. It's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah. Let me see. Yeah. Oh, that part is crazy. That's like a whole different thing right there. Like, hold on. That part is crazy. Yeah. But there's so many different ways, like so many different ways you can play with it. Like that's the beauty of music for real. Bro, this is amazing.
Chicken fire.
Yes.
I always get the bone in. And the thighs, never the breast, all the dark meat.
For sure.
So there's a wrap, guys.